Zoom. Okay, yep, got it. Okay.
Pause it again. Oh, welcome everybody. This is number 5 that we've been doing this. It's been very exciting. And today we're going to go to Argentina. I love South America. South America is one of the greatest continents.
I've never been to South America.
Oh, it's really fabulous. I mean, I've been to Argentina, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador. You know, I haven't been to Chile, which is definitely on my list. And Brazil, if you count going to the Brazilian side of Iguazu. So it's really a fabulous country with wonderful people. And Argentina is an amazing country. It's very, Buenos Aires is very continental. There's much of a European feel to it. And the rest of the country is just nature, just bestowed treasures and gifts from north to south. It's most breathtaking. So I'm going to introduce you to Loli Marino. And Loli and I met at the International Luxury Travel Market in 2018. And I had a supplier in Argentina that went radio silent on me. And I had a client that was doing an Antarctic trip. And after the trip, they were going to go to Buenos Aires. And it was over New Year's. And here we are in the beginning, the first week in December. And her trip is like not getting planned and whatever. And I thought, okay, I am going to meet the right person at this conference. And there was Loli, and Loli was just so fabulous. We hit it off right away. She said, don't worry, I will take care of your clients. They will have a fabulous time. And she is good to her word. They had an incredible time. She made everything happen in a very short amount of time and over New Year's, which is just amazing from the first week in December. So it all went off fabulous. So we have been fast friends ever since. Fabulous. She started her company in 2008. I started mine in 2007. And this year we found out that we're birthday twins. We have the same birthday. So I'm going to turn this over to my very dear friend and the best of Argentina. And she's going to share, oh, and name of her company is Oriunda. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oriunda.
Oriunda, yes, the U should be U, Oriunda.
Yes, Oriunda.
And that means in Spanish native. So when you're traveling with Oriunda, you're getting a native local perspective on how to see the best of Argentina. So Loli, my dear friend, take us to Argentina.
Okay, hello, how are you? Thank you very much, Sam.
Sandy, she may need to turn off her screen so we can hear her.
Yeah, Linda, will you mute everybody? Okay.
But she may not have the bandwidth herself, so she may need to turn off her screen or we can't hear her.
Okay. Sandy, will you share the, okay.
Okay.
So, okay, wonderful. So I'm very happy to be here with you at 9 p.m. here in Buenos Aires, and I'm just ready to share with you a glass of Zucardi wine. I'm just ready with my Chardonnay. So my idea is to introduce you to our wonderful country, Argentina, and it's many options for an unforgettable trip. And also you will have the opportunity to meet Julia Zucardi, one of the members of this traditional family from Mendoza. Julia is a dear friend. She is in charge and responsible for the tourism in both wineries, and Zucardi has been the pioneer in Mendoza of developing amazing experiences related to wine. So
Loli, can you hear us?
around presentation. Next.
Okay.
Okay, so the following. So I will invite you to travel with the previous one. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you. I will invite you to travel with your imagination to our beautiful country. And the first things that I will want to ask you, what do you associate Argentina with? Probably with gaucho, with wines, with a terrific landscape, with the mate, with our empanadas. But apart from all of this, we as Argentinians are very warm, very informal in some way, very extroverted, coming from a generation of immigrants that came to Argentina in the late 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, looking for a better life and future. This is the history of most of our grandparents. And this is, you can feel it in our architecture and also in our gastronomy. So the following, Sandy?
Yeah, it takes about it. There's a slight delay. Yeah.
Okay, and we have an extreme contrast of landscape. We have the mighty, okay, it's a little difficult when I'm not moving the presentation.
Okay.
But this is like a very big country, just for information. This is the previous one with the map, Sandy. Yeah, thank you. This is the previous one with the map.
Oh, the map, okay.
Sorry. This is the 8th largest country in the world, and this is a country with extreme contrast of wonderful landscape. First of all, and most of our travelers start our trip in Buenos Aires, one of the greatest cultural cities. We will continue our presentation to the mighty waterfalls. Pretty near the waterfalls are the wetlands. The second largest wetlands in the world are here in Argentina. Then we will continue our trip to northern Argentina that they deeply love. Following to Mendoza, that most of you, I'm sure that you will fall in love. And then going down, we will continue our trip to Patagonia.
Loli, can you?
Please, yes.
Okay, I just want to make it you.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And one more. Yes, we will start with Buenos Aires, that you can just continue with the following. Little more. Here. So Buenos Aires is an incredible city. I live here, I'm from Buenos Aires. Sandy told us that oriunda means native, and it is a very powerful and formal word in Spanish. When you say, for example, I'm from Buenos Aires, I'm oriunda from Buenos Aires, Julia is oriunda from Mendoza. So the following chart. So Buenos Aires is one of the greatest cultural cities in the world. I dare to say that this is the most beautiful city of Latin America, by far the most cultural city. Here, what is a blast, of course, that is tango. If you can dare to attend a tango lesson and continue to milonga, that are the local clubs that the tango clubs that locals go to dance tango. Polo, which is that we have many beautiful estancias in the Pampas, pretty near Buenos Aires. This is a city that, depending on the area you live or you are, you can feel in Italy, in Spain, or in France. There is a mix of different architecture in the different areas of Buenos Aires. Continue, Sandy. the opera house that has been renowned as the most beautiful opera house in the world. We are very crazy about soccer. So in La Boca, one of the most important things to visit is the Bombonera or the Boca Stadium, and even more if you have the chance to attend a soccer game in Buenos Aires. Art is very, very important. This city has so many beautiful museum, fine art galleries, the possibility of meeting different artists, while cooking class with a lot of meat, but here in Buenos Aires you have so many different restaurants from all over the world, different cuisine. We don't eat only meat. The Delta is pretty near the city, just 15 minutes from Buenos Aires. You can get to the Delta and to enjoy a private navigation, which is like a very relaxed program. Design is also very, very nice to do a trendy experience in Buenos Aires. Continue.
I just want to
Sandy.
jump in. I just want to jump in for a second and talk about the theater. It is spectacular, and you can take a tour. I mean, it goes down, I don't know how many levels below ground, and they make everything from the wigs to the shoes to the stage things. I mean, it is, if you love theater and you know, any kind of theater, it is the most incredible thing. And then to go to a performance, I mean, it's just fabulous. And in fact, when they do productions, they'll often rent their backdrops and their stages and costumes to other companies around the world. It is just spectacular.
Yes, and the sound, and even more. If you can visit the theater, there are like many visit every day at every hour, and we can also organize private visit. And to add, in case some client ask for a private tenor concert, and we can do it. So the possibilities are many at that opera house. Then, well, as I mentioned, the amazing architecture that this city has, especially in Recoleta, where the main influence of the architecture in many buildings has to do with, or can remind you to France. Sandy, move please. Well, we organize amazing cooking class with some reference in the country. Well, everybody wants to learn how to prepare our delicious empanadas, or how to prepare the meat and asado, which is like very important for us, especially on Sunday. And this is like a super program that everybody wants to go to an asado and to meet with your friends or with your loved ones. There is no excuse to prepare and to organize an asado here. The next one. The street art is also very important here, especially in the south of Buenos Aires, and also in Palermo Viejo, the trendy neighborhood. So there are like amazing and very big murals from different artists, and this is like a new facade of the south of Buenos Aires. The next one. Well, the Pampas, as I already mentioned, at 150 kilometers is Areco. Areco is a very tiny town where very related to the gauchos. The city is beautiful, but beside the city you can spend a day or just 2 days at beautiful estancias, and to do horseback riding, or to enjoy the delicious asados and a picada that we always start our asado with a picada. Well, maybe to dance a tango. And from Buenos Aires, we will travel to the mighty waterfalls. The waterfalls have been declared one of the new 7 nature wonders. The following, 80% of the falls are in the Argentinian side, and the rest in the Brazilian side. Both, we always say that we can feel the falls from Argentina, but you can see the falls from the Brazilian side. They have the 20% of the 230 falls, but they have the best panoramic view, and you from our side, you feel the waterfall just opposite you because are pretty close to you. And the main waterfalls is the Devil Throat, which is in Argentina. It's a fantastic destination, especially for families, kids, children love that destination. There are amazing hotels. Well, nature is amazing. The following.
Well, I just want to step in and talk about, you know, that little boat ride. I mean, it's fabulous. I mean, you get in this small boat and you actually go up kind of almost under the falls. I mean, you're going to get soaking wet. They'll put your cameras in, you know, wet protective gear and all that kind of stuff. But it is so much fun to do that. And you can only do that on the Argentine side, right, Loli?
No, you can do on both sides. And in fact, from the Argentinian is from 12 years of age. From the Brazilian side, you can take a boat. The difference is that the boat experience in Argentina is a little more, not more active, but more adventurous. I would say exciting. I would say yes, because you get pretty close to one of the main falls, which is the San Martin waterfall, which is the second most important falls in Argentina. So from the waterfalls, if you are a nature lover, you can travel to Iberá, as I mentioned at my beginning. This is the second largest wetland in the world, an amazing destination. Next one. For nature lovers and to watch, well, to meet the capybaras, the giant anteaters, thousands of different birds, caimans. There are beautiful estancias at the wetlands, so you can continue from the waterfall to the wetlands. So from the wetland, we need to go up to Iguazu and to take a flight to move to northern of Argentina. I really love this destination. This is amazing, the most different. I think that this is a destination that is more related maybe to Peru or to Bolivia in terms of custom. People are really friendly. We always say that Argentina has enormous and very different landscape, but even in the north, there are huge contrasts of terrific landscape. And the last two provinces of Argentina are Salta and Jujuy. In Salta is Cafayate, the second most important wine region of Argentina. This region is famous for its torrontés. It's the only Argentinian grape. It is a white wine that pairs perfect with our empanadas. Julia can tell you later that that one of her chef who is in charge of preparing the most delicious empanadas won last year as the best chef who prepared these delicious empanadas. But the empanadas from the north are completely different to the rest of the country. This is a destination not only for wine lovers. You can also here enjoy different trekkings. We have amazing horseback riding. It is like an amazing destination also for culture lovers. This is a very rich destination in terms of culture. And when you are in the last province of our country, which is Jujuy, all along the Humahuaca ravine, and to visit the different tiny towns and to dedicate to spend at least 3 days in the northern of Argentina. But it's like a beautiful destination and not very visited. So from northern Argentina, we will travel to probably the most interesting destination for you, which is Mendoza. This is our favorite destination. We have a huge expertise in Mendoza. We work a lot with Zucardi. I work a lot with Julia. I love working with all Zucardi team. they are amazing. So I'm very grateful with Julia that she can meet with you, well, her province and her city and this one region, which is by far the most important in Argentina. So Julia, are you there?
Thank you, Loli. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Loli and Sandy, for inviting me tonight. It's a pleasure for me to tell you a little bit about our province, Mendoza. I'm, as Loli already said, I'm part of the Zucardi family. We've been doing wines. I'm the third generation in the family. We've been doing wines for more than 50 years. And we were actually, as Loli already said, one of the pioneers in wine tourism. So back in the early 2000s, we started to receive visitors in our winery. Today, I'm in charge of the hospitality, and we have two wineries in two different regions of Mendoza. One is Santa Julia Winery, and the other one is Zucardi, which is placed to the south in the Uco Valley. Actually, the wines you are drinking tonight come from that winery, and is the one you are seeing in the photo. That is in the Uco Valley. The previous photo is the wine.
Yeah.
Yes. So in our winery, well, people can visit the winery. They can learn about our wines, about all the concept of wines from the mountain. You will learn later about our wines. And we also have a restaurant as well. Mendoza is one of the top luxury destinations today in Argentina. In the last years, we've become also, we were always like a big mountain and adventure destination. And today, with the wine tourism, Mendoza has grown in what we can offer. We have beautiful hotels, either in the city of Mendoza or in the countryside next to the mountain. Wherever you are in Mendoza, you can see the Andes Mountains. We're next to the Aconcagua, which is the highest peak in South America. So you can either stay, as I said, in the city. You can visit beautiful wineries with beautiful restaurants. Try our empanadas, as Loli said, barbecues, and also you can do, as I said, adventure. It's a perfect destination for adventurous people. You can enjoy a beautiful horse ride in the sunrise in the mountains. You can do a picnic next to the mountain. You can ride bicycles. So it's a very very diverse. It's a lot about wine, but wine enjoyed from different perspectives. You can enjoy a wine while you ride a bike, or you learn how to cook the empanadas. So it's all about wine, food, and the mountain. So there you can see different photos of the wineries, of the mountain. But of course, wine is part of our culture, and it's the main attraction.
Okay. Julia,
Yes,
that was fabulous. Thank you.
Julia, and I want to reinforce that Zucardi is all our traveler when choose Mendoza, that most of our travelers travel to Mendoza, a must is to visit Zucardi. So all of our travelers have to visit Zucardi Valle de Uco, which is, I can guarantee that this is the most beautiful winery in Mendoza, the best winery by far. The best lunch that all our travelers can enjoy is in Zucardi. And the feedback that we receive from all our travelers, it's like a pleasure when I read and when I share with all our agents how they spend like a wonderful time, a great lunch that are like a wine per lunch of 4 or 5 course, which is like really, really impressive. So
thank you, Loli, and I'm
yes,
happy. I'm happy to share tonight that today we received for the second year the prize for the best vineyard in the world. So it's a big prize for us.
Felicidades.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yes, and
Yeah, we
and
received the news today, so it's something very new. But yeah, the winery is beautiful. It has something very impressive for its architecture. We do wines that come from the mountain. We say we try to show the identity of the land and our people, and it's all about that. It's about reflecting the identity of Mendoza and Argentina.
Yes, and Sandy, could you please just move like a little to the first chart from Mendoza?
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, but I want just to the previous one.
This one?
No, the previous one.
That
the
one,
wines
yeah,
that
that's
yes,
the winery.
that the wines, yes, that's a winery. At the wines that you will taste today come from this winery, and you can feel the landscape, which is amazing. The winery itself, the architecture is amazing, and the project, who is the winery who is in charge of Julia's brother, Sebastián Zuccardi, is the winemaker, and is one of the most prominent winemaker in the country. Very young as Julia as well. So thank you, Julia. I'm very happy that you accompany me, and she's great. And the best for me is that the winery is in charge of an Argentinian family who is like so beautiful and warm, and a pleasure to work with, because they are very accessible and to do their best to guarantee the best experience for our travelers. So thank you, Julia.
Yeah, that's the idea always. So thank you, Loli, for letting me share a little bit about what we do. And I hope everybody enjoys our wines later, or you are already enjoying them.
Yes.
So cheers. Cheers.
All right.
And let Loli go on.
If I might add quickly, the Zuccardis don't just do everything they can to take care of their visitors and customers coming to check out the winery, but they do the same thing for everybody in their community, from their employees, and they really have beautiful programs to make sure everybody's has a proper education and health and childcare for the employees who tend to the land. And it's really a beautiful thing to see this all-encompassing approach to taking care of the earth that's growing the vines and the people who are making that wine as well.
Well, that's great. Thank you for letting us know.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So from Mendoza, we will continue our trip to Patagonia. As I mentioned, Patagonia is very big. There are many, many Patagonias. We will start in our northern Patagonia, and Bariloche and Villa Langostura are our favorite destination, our favorite city in northern Patagonia. Bariloche is its flagship. It's the most famous destination. While the northern Patagonia, and especially Bariloche and the Lake District, it's like the perfect landscape with the blue lakes, emerald rivers, the mountains. It is like a wonderful destination for everybody, for family vacation, for honeymooners, for solo travelers, for fly fishing lovers. This is the paradise. Also for trekking lovers. This is like a fantastic destination. Gastronomy here is superb. There are like beautiful hotels. The Xiao is probably the most traditional hotel in the country, but there are many others beautiful hotels. And also like it's like the perfect destination for adventurous families that sometimes want to end with a glamping experience, and sometimes we receive like this was the highlight of the trip, to do glamping. So in this destination, the wow moment appears everywhere. Gastronomy, as I mentioned, is phenomenal, especially its chocolate. It's famous for its chocolate. Bariloche received many immigration, mainly from Germany, and sometimes you can feel it in not only in its flavors, always in its some architecture. So we will cross from Bariloche to the other side, to the ocean, to visit our Atlantic Patagonia, which is amazing, amazing destination for wildlife lover. From June to December, we receive a lot of whales that come to this coast, penguins, sea lions, elephant seals, like 1,000 of sea lions and encounter every year from June to December. It's the season for whales and penguins from September to April. So from Atlantic Patagonia, we will go south to get to El Calafate. This is the famous city, home of glaciers. The most famous glacier is the Perito Moreno, which is unbelievable, the landscape, the following. The best experience here is, of course, the possibility of walking on its glaciers, on its ice, sorry, which is a really, really impressive experience. There are two different.
I did that. It was so much. It was so much fun. I mean, it was scary and fun at the same time. And you look down these crevices, and you swear that if you fall down there, you're going to go to China. And then there was a very special at the end, but I'm never going to tell you what it was because it should be a surprise. But you definitely have to do this hiking on the glacier. It was just amazing.
Yeah, so this is a wonderful experience. And the following, please. And on a second experience, you can visit the other glaciers. We have the Uppsala, which is in fact the most the biggest glacier in Argentina. Another possibility is to do kayaking in front of the Perito Moreno, or maybe to do a horseback riding pretty near the glaciers. So the possibilities are like many and different according to, of course, how demanding or which is the adventure that you want to do here. So from Calafate, we will travel just 200 kilometers to get to El Chaltén. El Chaltén is the following, Sandy. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that also in Calafate it is possible to hire a cruise, which is really nice. And it's 2 days where you navigate along the different glaciers. So this is like a beautiful, beautiful experience. And it's quite active because it has different stops where you have like a very beautiful trekking and to visit the different glaciers. So
also, when we did this, we got to see a condor.
Ah, wonderful.
Yeah, it was really amazing.
Yeah, so from El Calafate, we traveled to El Chaltén. El Chaltén is the capital of trekking in Argentina. It's home of the Fitzroy, which is the second highest peak in America. This is a destination that addresses mainly, of course, trekker lovers. There are so many different trails with the best reward of the Fitzroy or the Torre Mount, which is really, really nice. It has amazing, amazing hotels, from luxury to comfortable hotels, and also the possibility of doing glamping in the middle of the mountains. And from El Chaltén, we will finish our trip to Ushuaia, the southernmost city in the country, which is the end of the world. It is a fantastic destination for active people or for adventure families. Gastronomy here is also phenomenal. The king crab, an experience that I love is the king crab fishing, which is amazing when you board your navigation to catch your king crab, and then you eat and you learn how to prepare your king crab. So fantastic. Also the possibility of doing an off-road in the lakes or a beautiful trekking in the national park. It has the only national park that combines everything. You can have here the lake, river, lagoons, an amazing landscape, so many different birds. So Ushuaia is amazing. It has also a penguin rockery, so for family is super fun. And it is the entrance of like many cruises to the Antarctica and also to the Cape Horn lead from Ushuaia. So this is also a fantastic destination, not only for active people and adventure, also for nature lovers. So we are getting to the end of this wonderful country, and I hope you enjoy and continue with your amazing wine tasting.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Loli? We did have a video, but we're running a little late, so I don't want to cut in anymore on the wine. But does anyone have any questions for Loli before we move on to our wine tasting?
I do. So what would be a typical trip? Would you focus on just one region and spend like 12 days, or would you, how the country's so big?
Yes, the country is very big, and we recommend at least 10 or 12 days to combine.
Oh, we lost her.
You froze, Loli. Jamie.
To visit.
Oh, you're back, Loli? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
We couldn't hear you.
Yes. So 12 days to combine at least 3 destinations. Mendoza is beautiful for at least 3 days. Then sometimes Iguazu is for only 2 days. Calafate needs 3 days. So with 12 or 2.
Well, and I'll pick up on that. The problem is you have to fly everywhere.
Destinations.
So
yeah.
Flying takes time. So you have to add in the transportation time. And like to go down to El Calafate, I'm not sure, I don't remember where we flew into, but then it was a 5-hour bus ride to Lago Argentina. So, you know, there's travel time you have to fit in when you're there. Jamie.
If you have 3 weeks to go, would you go from mid-July to mid-August, or would you go for the month of December?
The best time to visit Argentina is from October till May, because it's we are in our spring and in our summer. Of course, that you visit Argentina in our Mendoza is the perfect destination all year round. The northern of Argentina is amazing all year round. Iguazu is very warm all year round. So it depends on the destination,
but there's some, you know, they're reversed. So there's summer and our winter. I was there in November and it was just beautiful weather. Okay, so we'll leave some more questions for Loli at the end. I want to turn this over to Warren. Most of you know Warren, but I think we have a couple of new people. Warren is a wine purveyor. He owns Duvan, and he is wine is his passion. It was kind of his avocation, and he turned it into his profession. He has amazing knowledge. And he has incredible access to some of, you know, here we are, the best winery, you know, I mean, one of the best wineries in the world. Warren has amazing access to very unique, wonderful wines. So, I mean, and whether it's a red wine to go with pizza or it's a Grand Cru, Warren is your guy. And Warren is going to take us on a trip to Zucardi in Mendoza. So Warren, take it away.
Well, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate it. It's so nice to see a bunch of familiar faces here. I'm sure you're all sick of me by now after 5 times. We've done a great tour of, my goodness, we've been to, where have we been? We've been to South Africa, we've been to Portugal, we've been to Australia. Where were we last week? I forget.
We were on the Danube. We were in Vienna.
We were in
with 900 vineyards in the city. I'm still amazed by that.
Yeah, in Vienna, and now we're in Argentina, and next week we're going to the Loire Valley. So
right, I mean, it's our private jet around the world.
Indeed, indeed. So anyway, thank you, Lodi. That was a wonderful tour. I mean, Argentina is definitely on a bucket list. A close friend of mine, who I'm sure you and Julia know, Michael Evans, moved to Mendoza about 20 years ago and started Vines of Mendoza, and built this amazing resort out there and everything. And he's been begging me to come for 20 years. And I think after seeing that presentation, best get down there in December. So thank you for that. It was great. And Julia, nice to finally put a face to the name and everything. I spent a fair amount of time with Sebastian. Sebastian is Julia's brother, and it's a true family affair. I mean, those of you who know me over the past several weeks have, you know, realized that what we're about at Duvan is really introducing folks to really interesting and unique wine experiences. And we prefer to work with wineries that are smaller, that are family owned, where the true essence of the grape and the terroir is expressed in the wine with little interference and little manipulation. And I think Zuccotti fits that bill. Family owned, small, artisanal, quality, multi-generational family in the wine business, and now have risen to the pinnacle, not only of winemaking in Argentina, where I think objectively Zuccotti is and when you add in El Enemigo, certainly are among the top 2 or 3 wine producers in all of Argentina. But besides that, I think are comparable with some of the best wines in the entire world. And I think tonight we're drinking what I would call some of the more accessible wines from Zuccotti. Phenomenal value. In South Africa, you'll recall the value in those Babylon Storen wines were terrific because of the rand-dollar exchange. Similarly, for many of the Argentinian wines, we are afforded the luxury of having a very strong currency. And that is enabling us to drink wines of such extraordinary caliber relative to what we would get from Napa or Sonoma or from France, for example, at very, very modest pricing. I mean, these wines, you bid both of these wines, they're $20, $25 bottle of wines, and they're extraordinary. And that's really sort of the Zuccotti secret and story. But interestingly enough, I mean, in fact, I'm going to share my screen because I just want to very quickly, actually, before I share my screen, okay, I'll share it. I presume you can all see my screen now. So
yes.
This is the family. So Julia, I'd like to recommend that they add you to this photograph, because you're much better looking. You're much better looking than Sebastian. But don't tell him.
I am usually the face of Santa Julia. That is why they don't put me in the in the Zuccardi part. But they are very good looking.
Yes, they are. They are indeed wonderful. So it's a true family. Third generation. As I mentioned, and I'll get into it a little bit. So and then just to give you a sense of what Zuccotti. If you look at the label on the Chardonnay, for example, it's reflecting the winery. So this is the winery that you see here in terms of this picture here, and you can see how it comes into the label, which is just really, really extraordinary. And the restaurant, if I'm not mistaken, is the best restaurant in all of Mendoza. So here's a sense of what you would experience. But we're really all about the wines. So let's have a look here at the at the wines. So we're drinking what's called the Q series, which is a step up from the A series, and here's the Chardonnay. And what's beautiful about the Chardonnay from Mendoza, these are very, very high elevation white wines, and you've got volcanic soils and beautiful, beautiful terroir over there in the vineyard. So you get this great minerality. So those of you who've had a chance to drink the champagne, this is not your Napa, Sonoma, buttery, oaky Chardonnay. This wine has great acid, great balance, great minerality. It's a terrific food wine. You probably saw me eating a little bit. It's my lovely wife Connie actually made a beautiful corn chowder that went beautifully with this wine, because the sweetness of the food and the acidity and beauty of this wine came through really, really greatly. And you can sort of see these wines in terms of the technical, objectively speaking, are really, really highly, highly rated. Similarly, on the Malbec, obviously, as we all know, Malbec being the quintessential Argentinian grape. Here's the Q series. I don't speak Spanish, but I can see that's 100% Malbec, as you can see. It comes from the Altamira in terms of the vineyard up there in Mendoza. Relatively low alcohol, which is nice, as opposed to the 15, 16, 17% alcohol wines we're used to seeing here in California, which is really getting to be a bit much. So anyway, that's Zuccardi. Those are the wines. You know, I'm curious to hear what people think. One thing I want to say. The top end wines from Zuccardi, in fact, like the Piedra Infinita wines, are not only among the best wines in Argentina, but among the best in the world. And in fact, the latest Piedra Infinita just got 100 points from Robert Parker. And I don't know, Chelsea, 18 bottles made it to California, something like that?
Yeah, we only got there are 3 packs, and we got, 20 packs that came in initially. So they're highly allocated, but they're really,
so
really
it's a 100-point wine, extraordinary, not only one of the best Malbecs in the world. As Chelsea said, 60 bottles made it to California. I was only supposed to get 6 bottles. I think, don't tell anyone, Chelsea, I think I got 12. But, and there are literally only 6 bottles of that wine that are currently available at retail. So if you want to drink one of the world's best wines, you better call me quickly. Otherwise,
how much is that bottle of wine, Warren?
It's not as accessible from a price point of this wine. Right. It runs approximately $175 a bottle plus tax and delivery and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that would be like 300 if it was Screaming Eagle or something.
No. Screaming Eagle starts at around. It used to be $1,000 bottle of wine. Screaming Eagle is now $2,000 to $3,000 a bottle.
Oh my God!
And it's not worth 10% of that, in my opinion. But don't tell them I said that, or they won't invite you to taste it. But no. So these Zuccardi wines, I mean, just extraordinary. I see Ginger, you're smiling, and others. I'm curious to hear what some of you folks think about these wines. For me, the high elevation. I mean, this Chardonnay is grown at over 4,000 feet. Some of the wineries in Mendoza got over 5,000 feet. And when guys like Sebastian started planting Chardonnay at that elevation, their fathers and grandfathers said, "You're crazy, they'll never ripen." Well, guess what? They ripen, and we get these beautiful, cool climate, in fact, icy cold climate wines with great acidity, as I mentioned, great balance. But the minerality from those volcanic soils is just extraordinary. And I'm telling you, find something that's sort of sweet, like a corn chowder with this wine. Is just extraordinary. Shellfish, seafood, anything of that nature with a Chardonnay would be great. And then, of course, if you're going to barbecue a steak, very few combinations are better than red meat and Malbec, which those of you who've been to Argentina know is what they're all about. They also make an amazing dessert wine called Malamado, which is a sweet Malbec that is off the hook. I'm telling you guys. So anyway, that's enough from me. We've got a little bit of time here. So questions for me. I feel a little intimidated talking about wine with Julia herself on the call, but I'm happy to answer any questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'll put you on to Chelsea and Julia. Ginger, did you look like you want to say something?
There's a question on here about Argentine Malbec compared to Cahors. Bordeaux Malbecs, and I would say when Argentina started making bigger production, what was really selling were these kind of overly oaked, riper, bigger, bolder, more of a homogeneous product. And Argentina has really elevated their winemaking and honed in on these more specific terroirs, and they want to show off what their land, what the mountains, what these sub areas have to offer. So it's not just Argentina, it's not just Mendoza, it's not just the Uco Valley. Now you have these really sub areas, just the same way that Bordeaux and Burgundy have subsections which speak more about what that land can create. So I would say Cahors, you could say, would be a drier style, but the way we're seeing a lot of these wines now is that they are made in a more elegant, higher acid, a drier style that really shows off the grape and where it's coming from versus what they're going to do in the winery to make an, maybe like a 90s Malbec.
And it's also really interesting because, place is everything. And interestingly enough, a couple of hundred years ago in Bordeaux, it was planted more to Malbec than Cabernet Sauvignon in pre-phylloxera days. And in fact, they're reintroducing a lot of Malbec into Bordeaux today because of global warming. And in the Margaret River in Australia, if you remember, those of you who were on it, when we were talking about Vassa Felix, how their red wine was a blend of Cab, not of Cab and Merlot, but of Cab and Malbec, because the Malbec ripens much more slowly along the same sort of timeline as Cabernet Sauvignon. And in the traditional Bordeaux Meritage blend 200 years ago, that Malbec served the Merlot purpose, which is why you get such great fruit quality, but also, again, great dry, tannic essence in the wine that just makes it superlative in terms of a combination with food. And like with Italy and other places, from what I understand, Julia, correct me if I'm wrong, but food and wine, it is the combination. And there are few wines that go as well with food than these wines from Zuccardi. So it's
yes, it's true. What we believe is when you have a wine, we think they should be food friendly always. Wine and food is part of the Argentinian culture, so wine should go with the food, with all this ceremony we have of food. And regarding these wines, as you said, you can find all the minerality, because what Sebastian is always trying to do is showing the identity of the land, of the terroir. He wants wines to reflect, in this case, the mountain, to reflect the fruit, the grape. So it's all about that, the real flavors and the real taste of the fruit, without little intervention from the winemaker.
And in fact, the beauty of these Argentinian Malbecs, especially from producers of the quality of Zuccardi, is they can actually, in a lot of ways, while not completely, not the same, they're similar in the sense that they transport me to Bordeaux. You asked, you talk about Cahors, but the right bank of Bordeaux, which is primarily Merlot. I mean, I was just drinking a Chateau Gazin this weekend, which is, I think it's 100% Merlot. And this wine, reminds me very, very much of, of the wines from around Saint-Emilion, especially those that are made in in sort of the drier style, like a Figeac versus an Oursin Petrus. So I also noticed that someone put a post in here that you want Connie's corn chowder recipe. Hi, so
hi everyone.
Connie will.
Hi, Connie.
So
nice
Sandy,
to see
Connie will email you, Sandy, and you can.
Okay, and I'll email. Thank you, Connie. That's so sweet of you.
So this is the second of 3 installments of the corn chowder, because there was a July 4th sale at Safeway, and we bought about 400,000 ears of corn, and I think they were 8 for what were they, 12 for $1 or something silly? 8 for $1. So we've got enough corn in here to feed Patton's 5th Army. So I've been drinking corn chowder. I'm going to start growing corn out of my ears. But the first one was was a chicken corn chowder. Now this one was a vegetable corn chowder. But I understand that tomorrow I'm getting crab corn chowder.
Whoa.
No, I'm not.
Mm.
All right.
No more corn chowder? Oh, shoot.
Let's see, there's about 25, 30 people on this call. Connie, can you make that for that many?
Well, come on over. Come on over. We've got plenty of corn and we've got plenty of wine. That is for sure. Any questions on the wine or any comments on the wine?
Do you like the white or the red better? What does that Chardonnay compare to what you're usually used to drinking?
Better.
Well, it's interesting. Someone made the comment that I love the Chardonnay and I'm not really a big Chardonnay fan. But so I think what we're hearing there, and I'd love to hear from that person, is, you know, we've become accustomed in California to drinking very high alcohol wines, which can sort of numb the mouth. And we've also been accustomed to drinking very oaky, buttery Chardonnays, which masks the true quality of the fruit. I mean, Chardonnay out of Chablis and out of Burgundy and other places, the Margaret River, South Africa, Argentina, these wines have great balance and acidity and quality. And I think the reason many people are moving away from Chardonnay to Sauvignon Blanc is because they want to get sort of that acid and crisp nature of the white wine back, the way it used to be made in California. And I think that's what this Chardonnay does. It's giving that great sense of terroir, the minerality, the acid, the balance, the freshness, the sharp flavors, the citrus quality of it, but also on the nose, sort of those, you know, the beautiful, you know, stone fruit like white peaches and blossoms and stuff like that. And I think that's what makes this style of wine so much more appreciated by many people, because as Julia said, it's giving you what the grape and the land, the terroir, gives you. It's not a manipulated wine. It's not full of oak chips. The reds aren't full of mega purple and crap like that. And this is really the essence. This is what Chardonnay should taste like. Chardonnay shouldn't taste like butter that you get at Trader Joe's.
Yeah. Judy's asking in the chat, how do we get more of these bottles of wine? So Judy, you can contact Warren. I have his contact information, and tomorrow I'll send a thank you, and you can order whatever you want, and Warren can advise you on some other Chardonnays from some other areas that might have a similar kind of thing. So Warren is your go-to concierge for whatever kind of wine you want. I see a question from David. I don't know if you answered that. How do the Argentine Malbecs compare to the Malbec-based wines of Cahors?
I think, Sandy, that was the answer that Chelsea gave.
Okay, okay, all right.
For that question, but I think John has a question.
Yeah, the Malbec's wonderful, but it's very young. It's an 18, and I'm wondering what is considered sort of the prime time for drinking something like this.
Well, the 18 is definitely young, there's no question, but I think we would agree that it's still an accessible wine and quite pleasant to drink, even young. I think these wines, the A series, the Q series, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chelsea, are meant to be drunk within a few years of bottling. When you start moving up the scale of any wine, frankly, but especially with Zuccardi and the Malbecs, when you get into Concreto, and when you get into the Finca series and the Alluvianal ones, and they're very high-end wines, after 5 to 8 years, they begin to really come into their own and will age for 15, 20, 30 years. That 100-point wine Finca, that's probably a 50-year wine. That doesn't mean we have to wait 50 years to drink it. I don't have the patience. And if COVID doesn't get me in the next 50 years, something else will. But again, I think this wine would benefit from a little bit more time, but I think it's really pleasant to drink right now. And I think the Q series would be, it's fine to drink these now. And we are on to the 18 vintage. I think we're among the first to drink the 18 vintage, because on the Zuccardi website, it's still the 17. So, but what I would suggest, John, is buy a case, drink a couple now, wait 6 months, drink a couple more, wait 6 months, drink a couple more, and see how they develop and improve over time. But this Q series wine is not a wine that I would think that Sebastian would say is designed to age 5 to 10 years. This is, this is the wine to drink now.
2 to 3 year.
Yeah, yeah. I think the drinking window on this is now through 2022.
Good.
Thank you.
So, any more questions for Warren or Loli? We're just a little bit after 6. I know some people have to go, but whoever wants to stay, we'll be here for a little while. How many people might like to see if, I mean, Warren said this was a bucket list for him. Maybe we could twist his arm and do a wine tour to Argentina when it's safe to travel again. So just throwing that little seed out there. Any more questions for Warren? Comments? Loli? Julia? You can just unmute yourself.
I'm enjoying my both wines.
Oh, good.
And I do my homework and I have both wines here.
Yeah.
And I have the Chardonnay here ready to taste.
All right.
Both bottles just for me.
And you're just about ready to have dinner, Argentine style, so it's perfect.
Yes. So I will continue ready to my dinner. Yes, with family.
All right.
And judging by the chat, a number of people are going to drive by here and pick up the corn chowder.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have a business.
And a bottle of Chardonnay.
But just quickly, I'm noticing in the chat here a number of comments and questions about wine. Please, if you have a question about the wine or you do want to procure any of these Zuccardi wines or others from Zuccardi or any of the wines we've had from the series, please email me or call me, and so that I can take care of that for you, because I'm not sure once this concludes if I'll have access to the chat window here.
But but in every, I'll save the chat, Warren, so I can email it to you. But in every invitation, I always have Warren's contact information and also the link to Dovan's website. So you can always check it out there. But Warren's very accessible and be very happy to, chat with you a little bit about your wine taste and make some selections that he thinks would fit what you're looking for. So please feel free.
If you're local to the Bay Area, I will personally bring the wine to you. Connie will come with me, and the cost of delivery is to sit on your deck, socially distanced appropriately, and drink some wine that if you're too cheap to give me, I'll bring over myself.
I'm taking you up on that, Warren. Because
Warren, the corn chowder.
Warren, that's way too good an offer.
The corn chowder next time.
Yes. Well, it's and David, I'll be happy to come by your house, provided you're not walking on the beach.
We had a bit of a communications issue.
Oh.
Took a while to get
organized. We did connect, however.
Yeah.
We did. I'm just teasing you.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Well, next week we're going to be going back to Europe, so we'll be in the Loire Valley, and we'll get some information about I think France is just so many things to see. I don't know that we're going to do a highlights of all of France. We may just stick to the Loire Valley. I'm meeting with Découvert, which is a fabulous supplier for France, who I also had dinner with at the International Luxury Travel Market in this past December. So he is just an amazing guy and very knowledgeable about wines. They do amazing wine tours, so we could also do a fabulous wine tour to anywhere in France with them. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be great. Warren is always charming, wonderful, friendly, great. Connie always has the best food and recipes. We're all drooling. And Ginger always does a great job, and everybody's kind of coming in. So it's really been a lot of fun. So next week we're off to France.
Yeah, and the Loire is fantastic. I mean, those of you who have been there, and the wines, we have a Sancerre Rouge, which is Cab Franc, and we have a Sancerre Blanc, which Sauvignon Blanc, which is going to be just, amazing. The wines from Henri Bourgeois are amazing. One thing, if you do go to the Loire and you want to ride your bike from Avignon, from Amboise to Chavignon, my recommendation is don't let your ego get in the way and get the electric bike. I, because I'm a lazy fat ass, got the electric bike. And my sister and brother-in-law and wife didn't want to get the electric bike because, oh, they're strong. So guess who ended up
Having a good time.
spending the entire time on Connie's bike while she and my sister shared the electric bike? No,
Oh, Warren,
Right.
that's true love, Warren. That's true love.
Hey, Warren, how is it hard to ride an electric bike? I mean, is it like
This is the
weird?
bike.
Is it
No,
weird?
no, it's beautiful. It's like power assist. It makes you feel like Hulk. It makes you feel like the Incredible Hulk when you pedal. No, it's perfect.
Yeah, just what I always wanted to feel like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, no. Electric bikes are great. Yeah, absolutely.
Makes going uphill a lot easier.
Yeah, really. I definitely can't do that anymore.
As an avid cyclist, I am the engine and I love hills. So anybody who wants to actually give it a real good shot, we'll meet you at the winery.
All right,
That's
Jamie.
fine, baby.
Another side of Jamie that we just learned. That's great, Jamie.
We had
That's right, Jamie. We'll get a
wonderful
tandem
wine experience
bike.
in the water.
You get a tandem bike, and I'll be on the back.
Yeah, and Warren, it's great to have some ballast going down.
It's more than balance. If I'm on the back of the bike, the friction is going to against the road because of the 700 pounds on the back saddle is going to be really bad.
Oh.
Warren looks like a guy.
Well, this was wonderful, everybody. We had another great time.
Thank you,
Great
Sandy.
to
Thank
see
you, Warren.
Thank you very much,
Next
Sandy.
week.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Gracias.
Just send me. I can send them to Loli. I can send them to Julia. I can send them to Warren. I can send them to Chelsea. We'll get Connie's chowder recipe, and we'll see you next week in France.
Yay!
Take care, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Stay
Thank
healthy.
you.
Wear your
Bye.
mask. Wear your mask.
Thank you very much.
All right. Salud.
Salud.
Bye.
Salud.